living in a prohibition state and you still want to grow your own? We've got the tips you need to stay under the radar. Hey, but before we get into that, I got some gear to help you stay under the radar, guys. AC Infinity has the quietest inline fans out there, as well as excellent carbon filters. Comes with a controller to hit all your set points because you don't want that odor getting out anywhere and you don't want to hear anybody running your equipment. So go over to AC Infinity on Amazon, search AC Infinity, coupon code DUDEGROWS10 will get you 10% off, and check out their great gear.
Yes.
Let's get into this.
All right, dude, let's get into this. And the first thing you need to know is the legal risks, federal legal risks, but most importantly is state. Each state has different laws and different amounts of room in their courts and jail cells.
Yeah, that's the first thing when I came to Colorado is I consulted with an attorney to see what's the worst that could happen to me. And for me, it was community service and a fine.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a record or a prior criminal history, things can be different. You mentioned federal. Let's hit that real quick, man, because that was always on your mind.
Easy.
I know back in the day, don't go over 99 plants. Once you're at 100 plants, there can be mandatory minimums still in this day and age and all kinds of consequences.
Yes, they're considered, once you go over 100 plants, each plant's considered a kilo.
Damn, a kilo is like 2.2 pounds per plant. You are a good grower.
You're a good grower. The government thinks a lot of you. Hey, dude, one last thing is there are resources, normal, NORML. They don't spell it normally, but they will tell you there's a state map right there. The laws in every state. So that is a great reference. Go to normal and /laws. But yeah, very interesting. And check that out before you make any decisions.
They also recommend attorneys on normal there if you do want to have a consult, just to get it from the horse's mouth, as they say. Where you're going to grow is a consideration too, Scotty. Are you renting? Do you own your house? Extremely challenging in some circumstances if you're in a condo or shared wall or apartment situation and you have to be on top of odor. That can be scary. If you're a renter, I'm a landlord. Just be the world's best tenant. Do everything you can do,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. Don't give a ton of reasons for the landlord to show up.
Or if they do want to show up, don't be weird about it, because that's a red flag as well.
What do you mean, man? I'm cooking bacon. I got all sorts of excuses, man. Oh, man, I just went and my coworker was sick yesterday. So I'm doing the right thing, man. I'm quarantining. I'd love to open the door, but.
You just did a good tip there. Bacon and or popcorn in a quick hit. If you need it, just nuke both of them together. Get the house smelling like something different. But also know you have tools. Your house shouldn't have to smell like that, guys. That's another tip here is carbon filters have come a long way. As I mentioned earlier, easily accessible. Go to acinfinity.com. But they're the first and foremost thing that gets people busted across the board is somebody smells something. A delivery person, which how many people get shit delivered these days? All the time.
Yes. Yeah, it's true, man. And carbon filters, I've been growing before carbon filters were a thing. And they were a complete game changer. A carbon filter will completely eliminate the smell of your grow if you do it right. If you've got to grow in a bedroom with the carbon filter scrubber, you're going to be okay. Your roommates or my wife isn't going to complain about how it stinks. Stinks like weed, Scotty. That's more my dad than my wife. Sorry.
I mentioned noise earlier. That can be a big one. I used to have a grow where I had somebody over, we're watching some movies, and it wasn't like a serious concern. It was just a friend that didn't know I grew. And why is the floor humming there? And that's where I had an inline fan mounted to the floor joist below. I was like, shit. Like, okay. Then I went and put like some rubber gasket in between, fixed that. But you want your grow to be quiet and run quiet equipment or have it somewhere where the basement is the most ideal place to hide a grow. But sure, and keep in mind another tip on, just because this is bringing me back to living in prohibition land. When you have a carbon filter, if you're exhausting from your active grow outside of a building, outside of a house, outside of a wall, or into an attic, be smelling those places when you come home from outside of your house. When you have a fresh nose, go out there and smell an exhaust vent. Make sure you can smell nothing, or else it's going to be someone, like I said, the gas man that comes by, or they got to change out something for the electricity or utility person. And somebody smells something, it could be bad news for out. It's bad news. No, it's bad news. cares?
Yeah, one of the best things you can do if you're growing in tents is put them in a separate room, call that your lung room, and make sure the air in your lung room is clean. It only costs a couple $100 just to get, they call them scrubbers. When you have a carbon filter that is just left open and it's just left to circulate in the room, it's scrubbing the room. And that's really key too. For a few $100, to not have any issues with people complaining or with the law. Man, carbon filters are a great investment.
Most important tip, last but not least, tight lips. Tight lips, baby. I've been out, I've been around, I've been wanting to talk. When it's only you and you have nobody to talk to, and you're so excited to see your first dank harvest coming down, especially if you're sharing with people. Where'd you get this? You so want to be proud of it. That's me. I did it. So be very careful with that. Go out on the weekend and let loose. I've seen this before. I may have been guilty of it in Colorado. You get a little booze and you start getting a little chatty. And then the next day you're like, oh, shiz, well, who did I tell about what? So keep tight lips.
How did you meet me, dude? I was smoking massive joints, man. I would just take joints, light them, which is in prohibition time, and just hand them to somebody. Then another one, and dude was like, I think I need to meet that.
Or you could just use the disclaimer Scotty used before he showed me his grow way back in the day. I will unalive you if this word gets out. You will not be around. No more. So.
I didn't know the snitches get stitches yet, so sorry, man.
But do take all this into consideration, guys. It is not fun and expensive if you have to deal, especially have to deal with law enforcement or defend yourself in court, or not even go to court. Attorneys, they're not cheap. But that's just our take on growing in prohibition states. What about you? Share your info. And if you are sharing your info, maybe you need to rewind and listen to the video again. But what's your best tip while growing in prohibition land? Let us know in the comments below.
And if you like this video, please hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. If you know a grower in prohibition land, share it with them. And if you like this video, please check out the other couple that YouTube is recommending, because I know you're going to like them.